In self-treatment or prayer for yourself, realize this. You may use any form of prayer or treatment with which you're familiar. It makes no difference whether you learned it in Christian Science, in Unity, or New Thought. Use any of them that are familiar to you as self-helps. Don't look to them for any kind of healing, because you won't find them. But use them as self-helps to lift yourself in consciousness to where you can, at some minute, stop your thinking or treating or praying and say, all right, Father, I'm listening to you. I'm waiting for a feeling of your presence. Now, I've given my treatment, I've said my prayer, I've thought my good thoughts, but now it's your turn. Please remember that part, won't you? Now it's your turn, God. I am listening. I am waiting. I am receptive. I am responsive to the Word, to God, to the spiritual presence. And then learn to sit patiently for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, if you can, for a longer period. But if not, just 2 or 3 minutes is enough. Then get up and go about your business. If you have the opportunity, repeat that as many times a day or night as you can. Always remembering that your preparatory steps have no significance whatsoever in God. Their only significance is in helping you to reach that moment when you can say, now God, I'm through, you begin. I'm listening. You will find that from the moment that you begin that waiting period, even though nothing happens, even though you don't think you experience God, even though you don't feel anything, the change in your life will begin right there and then. It will only be days, weeks, months, when you will see the outer change in your experience, not due to your treatments, not due to any right thinking you did, but due to that period when you opened yourself to a God experience, because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And you're not going to get it until you get the Spirit of the Lord. Now use any method you can to raise yourself up. But then wait. Wait and catch that Spirit of the Lord. Sometimes it will come and you won't even know that it happened, except that afterward there will be a result. Sometimes you will know that it happened. Sometimes a weight will fall off your shoulders. You'll just go together like that, as if a whole weight had dropped from you. At other times you'll feel a deep breath, almost a deep gasp in there. At other times you may even get the feeling of, I'm with you. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. At other times you'll have other ways of knowing that you have achieved a realization of God. But do not be concerned if you don't, because it does happen very, very often that the presence of God comes and gives us no sign except that afterward the harmony begins to appear. Now you can change your lives beginning with this moment, regardless of what your background may be, regardless of what form of prayer or treatment you use, if you will understand that the form of the prayer or treatment has no value whatsoever as far as your spiritual demonstration and destiny is concerned, its only aid is like priming a pump. You pour a glass full of water into the pump only that you may get a whole bucket full or a whole barrel full out. And so it is, you may use some words, thoughts, treatments, prayers as a priming process to get you to the state where you receive the flow from God. And then you'll know why Jesus said, I can of my own self do nothing, the Father within me doeth the works. Because now you will see that all the labor that you've ever spent in religious or metaphysical work has had only one value. If it could help to get you to the place where you realize that it was no good, that it had no power, that it had no effect, that all of the human effort you ever made, physical or mental, didn't achieve your freedom. Only one thing did, this. Listen for that still small voice. Be receptive to God, who is closer to you than breathing, our poet tells us, closer to you than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. If you want to know God, get way down here into your chest bone. And while you won't find him physically there, you'll find that that sense of withinness will reveal it to you. God is just as much at the center of your being as of anyone who has ever lived on earth. God is just as available to you in this minute as he ever has been to any saint or any sinner. Even St. Augustine couldn't keep God away from with all his sins. And he tells us they were numerous. No one can keep God away from themselves who acknowledges God to be at the center of themselves and then has the patience to endure until God reveals himself. It's true, God doesn't always come in the very first minute that we ask him or expect him. It isn't quite that simple. We have lived our lives for generations separate and apart from God. It may take us at least a few weeks or a few months to get back inside and make contact again with that from which we have been separated for many generations. But the secret is, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Where the realization of God is, there is freedom, there is healing, there is supply. The very Spirit of God appears externally as dollar bills, as new flesh and new bones and new blood. The very Spirit of God appears externally as new homes and new transportations and new families. Thank you, thank you, thank you.